A very pleasant welcome to everyone into the video, and my name is Anil Kumar and I'm so pleased to be your teacher for the subject physics on SSC board Andhra Pradesh. And without any delay, let us get into the video. And in this video we are going to focus on our first chapter, and a very beautiful chapter, heat. And we might come across so many questions like what is heat. Before getting inside the subject, we have to know the definition of the heading or the main heading of the story. Here we are having heat. So first of all, we must be clear with the question that what is heat. And it is certain that we all know the answer. It is just a sensation of hotness of a body, isn't it? Yes, of course. But behind the screen of this heat, there is lot of story is being run. And let us go through the story of this person Heat, and let us know everything about this guy. Yeah, in this video we are going to focus mostly on the definition of the heat, definition of the temperature, and SI units of the heat as well as temperature. Why definitions? Why particularly definitions is one of the doubts. Because when we are going so technically in the subject, every term, each and every term or terminology is having a very scientific, at the same time very different, a very special definitions. So those are able to make you understand in a more better way. So let us go with the definitions of heat, definitions of temperature as well. Here is the definition of heat is given below in the PPT. And before going through the definition, let us understand how the heat is created or generated. We all might come across this doubt, but let us make this clear by now. Let us go with an example and understand the generation of heat in a more better way. Let us take two stones as an example. This is an instance. Let us take an example of two stones and try to strike the stones each other very hardly. And what happens after some time? The stone surfaces which are getting in contact to another one will get heated up, because the stones, while traveling in the air, when we are moving that stone from one place to another one, the stones while traveling will be possessing some kind of kinetic energy. When the stone gets in contact with the another stone, that kinetic energy which the stone is having gets converted into the heat energy. And why is this conversion happening? We all have a universal law, that is nothing but heat can neither be created and nor be destroyed, but it gets converted from one form to another form. This is what happening here also. So when the kinetic energy of the stone is being stopped due to when it strikes the another body, the kinetic energy of the body gets converted into heat energy, and that is how we are able to sense the hotness when we touch the surface of the stone. That is how the heat is generated. Here is what the definition is saying, that heat is a form of energy that is defined as the sum of kinetic energies contained by the molecules of the object. And it is clearly saying that the heat energy, it is nothing but the total kinetic energy which is getting converted inside the object due to the collisions in between them. And whenever we try to boil some water on the stove, this is the same thing happens. The bottom of the vessel is getting heated up, and it is giving an intimation to the water which is above it to boil. The boiling in the sense, all the particles of water will move in different directions so randomly, and the different random direction movement will leads to the collision of the particles inside the liquid. That is how the liquid which is inside the particle is being boiled, and the temperatures would certainly rise up. And let us go with a very simple another definition which we are having for the heat. Heat is a form of energy that is transferred from one body to another. It is clearly saying that it is a form of energy that can be transferred from one body to another. And how is this transmission going to happen from one body to another body? And for this, a basic rule is there. Heat always travels from the highest temperature bodies to the lowest temperature bodies. And remember it, Heat always travels from the bodies which are at the highest temperature to the bodies which are at the lowest temperature. For getting this happen in reverse case, like transferring the heat energy from the bodies which are at cold temperatures, which are at the lowest temperatures, to the bodies which are at the highest temperatures, we have to add some mechanical work in the middle of sink and source. And here comes temperature. Let us understand what is temperature. Heat is the energy, and temperature is the measure of hotness or coldness of the body. It gives the degree of coldness or hotness. It is clearly stating that specifically a measure of average kinetic energy of the particles in the object. So what happens here is temperature increases when the kinetic energy of the particles inside the objects increases. That is nothing but temperature is directly proportional to kinetic energy of the particles inside the body. As the kinetic energy of the particles inside an object increases, the heat energy gets increases. Heat energy in the sense the heat is generated so rapidly and at a very high extent. So temperatures, it is certain that temperatures will also increase, and that's give the foundation that temperature is directly proportional to kinetic energy. As the kinetic energy increases, temperature also increases. Here are some differences between the heat and temperature, but we all think that heat and temperature are both similar, but that is not the case. Both the terms are completely different with each other. So let us discuss some points. Heat is the amount of energy that flows. Heat is just an energy. It is an energy, where the temperature is the thing which determines the direction of the flow of the heat energy. So here, what is the direction of the flow? What is the heat flow direction? And before, I have explained one thing with an example. Not with an example, but we will go with the example now. Suppose take an example of two blocks which are having two different temperatures. Let us take an example of block A, which is having a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, and there is block B, which is having a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Here, when these two blocks gets in contact with each other, the heat energy from the heat energy from block A will be transferred to the block B. Why is this happening? Because temperature of block A is comparatively very higher than block B. So it tends to give some temperature to block B so as to get into the equilibrium condition. Nothing but there must be no heat transmission going to happen. This is what called the equilibrium condition. For this thing to happen, the temperature will be flowed from block A to the block B in order to maintain the equilibrium condition. And how is the temperature is being transferred? It is transferred from the bodies at highest temperature to the bodies at lowest temperatures. That is the natural tendency. And coming to the second point, total potential and kinetic energy contained by the molecules in an object. What is heat? Heat is the summation of the total potential energy and kinetic energy contained by the molecules inside the object. That is nothing but the total heat energy. And whereas the temperature, it is the average of the kinetic energy in the molecules of a substance. And coming to heat, it flows from the hotter objects to the colder objects. Nothing but the bodies which are at the highest temperatures to the lowest temperatures, lowest temperatured bodies. And coming to the temperature, it rises when it is heated and it lowers when it is cooled. And let us discuss some units given to heat at the same time temperature. Heat, it is generally represented by the symbol capital Q. Whenever we wanted to represent the heat energy, we have to write capital Q, and it clearly represents it is the heat energy. And where temperature, it is having no representation, but it is just a measure we are giving. So it is having SI unit, Kelvin. Whenever we go to hospitals, we can find the basic example there. Doctors will keep testing the patients with the thermometers putting inside the mouth. So they will be measuring the temperature in degrees Celsius, in degrees centigrades. Here it is not the case. When we are going into the subject, when we are getting into the subject, we will be measuring the temperatures in Kelvin. So generally the heat, it is having an SI unit. For every energy in the nature, let it be kinetic energy, let it be potential energy, let it be any kind of energy, but each and every energy is having the only one unit, that is joules. And the same way, heat is also a form of energy, and it is also having the units joules. Hope this video helps you in understanding the concepts, and we will be going with few more concepts on this heat. We will be discussing on so many other topics in the further upcoming videos, and stay tuned. Thank you very much, and bye.